do have a great partnership with Dubai Municipality, and they have a great vision. They have integrated well-being into the national agenda. So we were lucky to be ahead of everyone. Thank you.
Fantastic. And Emmanuel, of course, Airbnb doesn't need much of an introduction. I think everyone's quite familiar with what it is, but I would love for you to give us a sense of its presence in the Middle East and how that has sort of impacted your global strategy or regional strategy.
Yes, sure. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me. We've been operating in this region since 2016, and we started with a partnership with Dubai in 2016, and since then we've seen strong acceleration. Post-pandemic, we've seen double-digit growth in almost all our key cities in the region, whether it's Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Of course, we saw an acceleration in Qatar also through the World Cup in 2022, and also in Saudi Arabia, obviously. What's interesting is that we see that there is a big potential as a destination, obviously, but also as an origin. People from the region traveling on Airbnb domestically or within the region. And I think this is what we've been seeing over the past 3-4 years, which is kind of a new trend, which we really like because it tells us that the maturity of the brand is really getting there in the region. And we also see something, and I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but we also see something which is interesting, is more and more families are using Airbnb to travel in the region. Like 15% of the travelers in Dubai are with children. So those are signals that there is, of course, there is strong growth, but it goes beyond that in here, basically.
And if I can just sort of build on that, what would you say you look for in a destination partner when you're looking at a new market to enter? So obviously Airbnb came in 2016, as you said, which was 9 years ago. So what are the sort of things that you look for in a destination partner as you contemplate entering a market?
What we globally, and not necessarily in the region, what we look for when we collaborate is to partner on key things such as, of course, regulation topics, but also new ideas around how to improve the destination and show the destination in origin markets. So that's basically what we will look into. And we will also want to collaborate strongly on how do we make sure that we build an environment that feels very, very certain for homeowners, for hosts, because this is the core of Airbnb, is people renting their homes, right? So this is what we will look into, is getting that visibility, so that, because this visibility is and trust is a whole thing to make it a success, basically, which we found here in 2016, which was probably one of the earliest countries in the world to give this visibility to homeowners.
And in terms of sort of policy frameworks that make a destination an attractive place to be present in, could any of you, Guy, Irina, talk a little bit about that? What are some of the policy frameworks? You touched a little bit on the tourism strategy that these destinations have built, but what are some of those policies that really help drive not just growth but also innovation in tourism?
I think one of the key things about how these destinations in the Middle East develop is that framework, that policy framework, is put into a regulatory environment. So it becomes, if you want to develop a hospitality asset, or in our case, a hotel, and there's a certain level of innovation, be it sustainability, be it IT, be it AI, these things very quickly get built into classification. So if you're developing a hotel, you have no choice but to actually maintain it, grow it, drive it. So we're on board with it to begin with, but what it does, when it's in that classification, in that regulatory environment, we create an amazing consistency across the destination. Everybody is compliant to water facility, water usage,
Not charge. Like a dragon warrior.